The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
So I want to welcome on to the call I have several co-hosts tonight with me. I have Rick and Louisa Kateman, Steve and Lydia Howe. Louisa, do you want to just say hello to everybody? Sorry, I am trying to unmute you. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Louisa.
It's not happening.
Oh, yeah, it's working. Oh.
Sorry, well, there we go.
Awesome.
Okay. Yep. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. So thrilled to be here. It's an honor. And thank you, Amber, for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And Steve and Lydia, do you want to just give us a shout out? All right, we are having some muting issues. That's okay. Okay, onward and upward. Okay, so thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Amber Smithson. This is my husband, Jared.
Hey, everybody.
And we are certified Optavia coaches. And we are so happy to give you just a little bit of information on what it means to pay it forward. Now, this is a picture of our kids. Somehow, I'm almost the shortest person in our family.
And I'm still the tallest, even though our 15-year-old on the right looks taller. He's only 15, so he can't be taller than me yet.
I don't know. We're going to have to get that tape measure out. But one thing that I love about coaching is we've been doing this for almost 10 years now. And when we first started, our life looked completely different.
That's an understatement. We were hurting physically, we were hurting mentally and emotionally, and we were definitely hurting financially. And I don't know exactly which one was the chicken or the egg, but it was all just a big jumbled mess.
Definitely. And one thing that I love about Optavia is how we can focus on not just our healthy bodies, but our healthy minds and our healthy finances. And that has just been the biggest difference for our family, just for bringing us that daily peace.
So just to kind of give you a background of Optavia, Dr. Anderson, for those of you who were with us the previous half hour, just spent an incredible half an hour answering questions that people have. But Dr. Anderson was first in his medical class, valedictorian. Spent a few decades as a pioneer in the critical care field, very, very accomplished. But at one point, he felt like he was too far downstream, and he's like, this isn't why I got into medicine. I wanted people to feel well and be able to help people live better lives. And he was just catching those bodies as they came downstream. And he wanted to move further upstream and actually help people be well. And I've heard Dr. Anderson say this many, many times, that our healthcare system, it's not health, it's not care, and it's not a system, right? And so he wanted to get into and create a system that people could avoid many of those things. And don't get us wrong, if you have something go wrong medically in your life, we live in the best medical delivery system in the world. You can get the best care here. But if you don't have to be in that hospital because you're living an intentionally healthy life that's going to prevent 90% of those illnesses and stuff, that's what we're here to do.
Absolutely. So what does it mean to pay it forward? And I love our slogan, lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And this picture just really embodies what it means to be a health coach. You're just helping somebody along. But what I love about this picture is the guy who's helping the girl up, he's on the hike too.
Yeah, it's, you know what, in this picture, I don't even actually know who's the coach and who's the client. Because you know what, Amber and I have been coaching almost 10 years, and I've had so many times in the last 10 years where checking in with my clients real briefly each week, they've actually helped me, I think, more than I've helped them. But I always tell people that I'm just kind of people's co-pilot. Have you ever been on a road trip by yourself? Boring. But when you go on a road trip with a friend and stuff, it's like Tommy Boy, Chris Farley and David Spade. They're out there and they're like singing crazy Carpenter songs and stuff like that. That's what this trip is like. We get to just do it together and enjoy the journey.
All over. It's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
That's dumb.
Oh, okay, so where are you now? We have a really great health assessment. You can talk to your coach to get more information on that. But assess yourself. Where am I at with my physical health, with my mental health, with my financial health? And your cumulative score will kind of give you an idea of where you're at. Are you just surviving in your life? Are you above average? Are you thriving? Or are you failing? And we want to really just look at all those different areas, because in our country today, there's a health epidemic. The percentage of adults aged 20 years and over with obesity, over 37%, almost 38%. And the percentage of adults aged 20 years and over who are overweight, including obesity, 70%.
You know what a really interesting study that came out recently from the CDC that I was reading in regards to these numbers is that specifically women, they split the country into income categories: top third, middle third, bottom third. And the women in the bottom third, 45% obesity rate. In the poorest third. In the middle third, the middle income, it was 43%. It dropped by 2%. But the women in the top third that were making the highest income, it dropped clear to 29%. Significant drop in obesity rates because of their access and their resources to better foods, to better education, all these kinds of things.
Right. They really affect each other. So just to give you a recap of our 4 components, everybody gets an Optavia coach. And like Jared said, it's not always the coach is the one helping the client up. Sometimes it's the client helping the coach up.
We're not your boss.
We're not your boss, and we're not perfect, and we're not better than the client.
Man, she's speaking for me. She's like, we're not perfect. Yeah, no, we're not.
Maybe Jared Smithson is perfect.
Not even close.
I am not. Okay, so everyone gets a coach. It's someone who cares. They give a care. You know, when you're little and you're like, I don't even give a care. Your coach gives a care. I love that. And it's one-on-one support. It's not like you're calling an 800 line. And they're going to guide you towards those healthy habits and just give you that encouragement.
Dr. A's Habits of Health literally changed our lives. Amber's mom was our health coach. And she actually talked to us about the program for about a year, way back in 2008. And at the end of 2008, Dr. A's Habits of Health was released. And she brought it to our house, and we read it in about 4 or 5 days over Christmas break. And we were like, why didn't you tell us about this? And she's like, the book just came out. But we're like, this is everything that we want. This is how we want to live our lives.
Definitely. And the Optavia community, which you're taking part in right now, this is what I love. Like, if I can't be on live on a webinar, the live is the best, just so you know. But if I can't be on live, I am always doing the podcast and the replays on YouTube. And I can't even listen to music in the car anymore. It just feels like I'm wasting my life away. But the community, we have the support calls, we have a nutrition support team, which is amazing. And we have all of you. I even love looking at the chat thread during this. It's so fun.
And then kind of our secret sauce is our fuelings.
Our feelings have secret sauce?
Yes, they do. Lots of secret sauce. So going back to my road trip analogy, our bodies are like a vehicle. It's like a road trip. Unless you're driving an electric car like Dr. A and many others out there, if you're on a road trip, you got to stop every 2 to 3 hours. Fuel your car up, stretch your legs, make the kids get out of the car so they stop driving you crazy, right? You got to keep these things going, and it's all about a routine. So in order to make that really, really simplified in your life, I tried the whole meal prep thing for almost 5 years.
I was going to say 5 days.
No, it was
I
about,
thought you meant consecutive.
No. It was like 5 days in a 5-year span because it was so agonizing to me. So when I learned about the Optavia plan, and I only had to focus on making 1 meal a day, and the other 5 were exactly what I needed, macro balanced and micro balanced, everything that I needed. And within a few days, getting into that fat burn, not being hungry anymore, feeling good energy, drinking my water, all these things. And I lost 25 pounds on my own in 15 months, and followed by a 9-month plateau. That's called a plateau. When our clients haven't lost weight in three weeks, that's a plateau, right? And then when I started the Optavia plan, I lost my last 25 pounds much, much, much faster. Results not typical, about 4.5 weeks.
So I love our feelings. And this is the cool thing, is that this program is so cool to do as a couple. And you know what else is really cool to do as a couple? Is coaching. And that makes me just so happy that there's so many amazing couples that we have paying it forward and helping others. So I want to bring on Rick and Louisa Kateman and give us a little bit rundown. I'm going to unmute you. Please, there you go. Give us just a little bit about your story. We'd love to hear it.
Thank you. Thank you, Amber and Jared, and thank you for inviting us to this call. We're really privileged and honored to be here. It's exciting. So our story started about 15 years ago when I was 40 years old and Rick was 58 years old, and we decided to have twins, get pregnant with twins. And we did. And it was such a blessing, I have to say. But I gained 50 pounds in that pregnancy, and I had about 30 pounds left on me to lose. So I did what I knew how to do, and that was pretty much starve myself, exercise a lot, run lots of miles. Well, that doesn't work because your body goes into conservation mode and holds on to the fat. I wasn't properly fueling my body. But, you know, while I was trying for those 3 years, I had the diligence, I had the willpower, but got no results. And I know many people are in that position often. And so what happens to us when we're in that position? We get discouraged, we feel defeated, we feel hopeless, and that's no fun. But thankfully, I had a party one day, and good friends of ours came to our party. We hadn't seen them for a while, but they walked through the door half the size that they used to be. And I stopped my girlfriend, Teresa, dead in the doorframe. I said, Teresa, what did you do? She said, Louisa, you are not going to believe this program. It's the healthiest thing you can do for yourself, and the weight just falls off. Well, I was ready. I was way ready. And I started the program, and Rick joined me. I lost 30 pounds. Rick lost 40 pounds. And we were just so ecstatic over the control, the tools, the knowledge we learned, because not only were we able to get to our healthy weight and feel amazing, but we learned long-term sustainability. We learned how to move on to optimizing our health for our age. And it was amazing because for 40 years, I was pretty much beating my head against the wall and getting nowhere. But once this program happened, I not only got healthy, but I learned how to keep it off and then move on to optimal health for the rest of my life. So I started to share with a lot of people, sending them to my health coach. But after a while, I decided I'm going to be a coach just to help some of my mommy friends. I wasn't trying to build a business. I wasn't trying to earn income because I had a career. I was a court reporter for 25 years. Rick was a lawyer for 41 years. And we were full on in that legal career. it was not a healthy place to be. Very stressful, very negative. And what we had in that career were finances, but that's about all we had. We certainly did not have a healthy mindset. We did not have a growth mindset. We did not have meaning and purpose. We didn't have a life of balance and well-being. When we certainly didn't have time. And now that we had twins, we had a new family, our life was way out of balance. And so thankfully, Teresa and Randy took us aside one day and said, why don't you guys let us show you a different way? You don't have to work 60 and 80 hours a week sitting behind a desk, trading time for money. There's a different way. There's an option that you can have time freedom. You can be fully present for your kids. And luckily, we listened to them. And when we said yes, that yes really brought us freedom.
And thank goodness our coaches cared enough about us to share the opportunity to become health coaches, because we were desperate for time in our life. As Louisa said, we had income, that was fine, but we were the typical kind of people with money and no time. I worked 85 hours a week, she worked 65 hours a week, and we had 5-year-old twins. My life consisted, I was a very unhappy guy, my life consisted of getting up at the crack of dawn, watching my children sleeping in their beds. And I did that every day. And if I was lucky, when I wasn't out of town doing a trial, I would be home maybe 4 times a week to be able to see them for an hour and a half. That was all of a sudden my career, my so-called successful career in the legal profession was the enemy. And we had no off-ramp to that until our coaches talked to us about being an Optavia coach. And we listened, we had ears to hear, because they said, you know, you can actually earn enough compensation to replace your income in a relatively short period of time and work a fraction of the time that you're doing as a lawyer and court reporter. So we were saying, tell us more. And we listened. And as we learned the details, that's when we looked at each other and said, you know what? This is our new career. We can do this. So what we did, even in our busy legal careers, we took a small amount of time each week, every week, and we started helping people to get healthy on the Optavia program and to help other people find out about the coaching opportunity. And in a remarkably short period of time, we had earned enough compensation as Optavia coaches to match Louisa's income and bring her home so she could be a full-time stay-at-home mommy. And then not too long after that, we earned enough additional compensation that I could close my law firm and I could come home and be a full-time stay-at-home dad. So what happened now, it's been over 6 years that we both have been full-time stay-at-home mommies and daddies with our kids, watching them grow up. And over those 6 years, we have never missed a single thing in our kids' school, a single event that they had, a single sporting event. We have time now to be a family. And what that means was, instead of trying to find a way in our previous careers of trying to fit our life into the tiny little cracks of time our so-called successful careers allowed to us, now it's exactly the opposite. Now we fit our Optavia business as Optavia coaches into our life. What that means is we get to live our life organized around those things that matter most to us. And so that's where we are so grateful that we get to live a life in balance that we never dreamed was possible. And we've been given a gift beyond price to be able to live our life, not only in the way we want to, but to pay it forward and help other people. And that means that because we had our lives changed as a mom and dad, stay-at-home mom and dad, part of our goal and our mission is to pay it forward to other moms and dads and let them know that they've got an opportunity to live a life that has meaning and purpose as a family.
Absolutely. And so thank you, Amber and Jared, for inviting us on. We now have a life of balance and well-being and true abundance. And I just want to say thank you, Dr. Anderson. Thank you, Optavia. We are really honored. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
I love that. Thank you so much, Rick and Louisa. It really is inspiring, because so many times we just look at one thing when we define success. We think, oh, how does our bank account look? That's probably the first place that people go in their mind. But you guys wanted to redefine what success meant. It meant time freedom. It meant more quality time with your family. Those are important.
You know, to me, one of the things that I've learned, and you guys sharing your story really exemplified this. When people say, oh, I have everything I need, right? I hate that answer, right? Because from the outside, and even sometimes when you're just thinking about survival needs, like, do I have food, water, shelter? Do I have enough money to pay my bills and stuff? That's not everything we need in life. We need time. We need relationships. We need purpose and the feeling that we're contributing to the world and things like that. So, so I would just encourage people, like, when you are thinking about what do I need in my life? Oh, I don't need anything. Think about bigger needs. Think about the things that bring true fulfillment in your life. And the Kademans are a perfect example of that.
Right. And I just love that in Optavia, we focus on all those different aspects with the Trilogy of Optimal Health. And I love this Trilogy wheel, that it can really help you dial in to where are you at in these different areas. And not just with healthy body, people think, oh, my weight, how much weight do I need to lose? But it's so much more. What's your physical activity? Are you eating healthy? How's your sleep? How's your relaxation? And just go in each one of these different areas, like healthy finances. Okay, maybe you have enough money to make your bills, but that's like a 2 out of 10. What if we get to you're in abundance, you have freedom to create memories, experiences with your family, or save for the future? Do you have your, 1 point whatever $million you need to retire? I never know this.
Well, they say that if you're Gen X, that you need between $1 million and $1.5 million. I don't know how in the world today you can retire on that, but they say that millennials will need between 1.8 and 2.5 to just live above the poverty line.
Yeah, probably inflation.
Yeah, inflation, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, you have what you need. Oh, you have all of your retirement already? What if you lost your job tomorrow? Do you have everything you need for the rest of your life? So, just something to think about.
Definitely. Okay, food for thought. Let's bring on our next couple. Like we said, this is such a great opportunity, program and business to do as a couple. And we want to highlight another amazing couple, Steve and Lydia Howe. Go ahead and take yourself off mute. And we would love for you to share with us a little bit about your story.
Okay, great. We are so thankful to be here tonight, and we are so appreciative of the opportunity. Really tough to follow up the last couple because of the fact that they've done some very amazing things, and we're not at the level they are yet. We're not at that point where we're not working. We are still working, but we've got some goals and we've got some dreams, and Optavia has become a big part of that. Where we started, I'm a physical therapist, and I had started to notice, it was interesting, Dr. A mentioned earlier wearing scrubs and not realizing where you were as far as weight. And I did that because for a period of time I wore scrubs to work, and I've quit doing that because that hides too much. But I realized at one point that I needed to make some changes. I had a patient that helped me. He grabbed my love handles from behind and said I'd let myself go. That was an eye-opening experience. But then I had a daughter who was playing volleyball and unable to play the position she wanted to because of the fact that she couldn't clear the net. She wanted to be a hitter, and you can't be a hitter if you can't clear the net. And so she and I decided that we're going to do something together. I said, if I find something that we can do together, would you like to? And she said, Dad, I would love that. So, and I was her coach, but I wasn't going to put her in a position that she didn't deserve. That's just not right. So, met up or got a hold of a former co-worker of mine from 20 years before that or more, Todd Nicholson, who's my coach, and we got on the plan. We lost a tremendous amount. She lost 50 pounds. I lost 43. Our entire family together has lost about 350 pounds or so. And it's really changed our life, not just the weight loss, but we were always an active family, but now we're a more active family even so, and more comfortably active. And then beyond that, we also had the opportunity to pay it forward. We realized that this is really something. This is something that is help for anyone who's needing it. And so we decided that for us, the time was right to see if we could help others. And so we helped a lot in our family and then others. And a real neat ending to the story about Emily is that Emily then became well, she got the position, and at the end of the season, she not only had earned that position, but she became, by the end of the season, all conference, which was an amazing thing. So, it's made some great changes in terms of our life, and even more so in terms of us becoming Optavia coaches.
For a while, Steve did the business alone, and like many of you have done to begin with. And I was homeschooling our kids, and then after I finished doing that, I was looking into getting back into the workforce with my PR marketing degree. I was looking for a worthy cause, and because Steve has helped so many people as a physical therapist, and I was a little bit envious. I wanted to do something that was worthy, and I wanted to help people. And then I realized at conventions that we went to with Optavia that this is a very worthy cause, and this is helping people. And when I realized that, I started helping Steve, and we became partners. Early on, I didn't help as much, and I feel bad for some of our earlier clients because I wasn't there to help. And we have realized recently, and as we've worked together, that our talents mesh very well together. Steve is very good at math and science and finances and business and things like that. And I'm better at marketing and public relations and arts and crafts and social media, writing, things like that. So our talents mesh together like it does in our marriage. We make great partners in marriage, and we make great partners as coaches.
Yeah, and like they tell us all the time, we're better together. They say that in this business because we all work together. We don't do it alone. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And it's the same thing here. It's just a wonderful opportunity to be together. And, you know, it's interesting. There's a Bible verse that basically says that, you know, those of you that are stronger need to help those who are weaker and are struggling. And this is a great way actually to also live out our Christian lives. And so we found that that's the case as well.
I've struggled with my weight my whole life, and I realized that God was preparing me for such a time as this. Now we can help people together to get healthy, optimally healthy, and we're getting healthy, optimally healthy by being Optavia coaches and by helping other people. That keeps us accountable, and we are helping them.
Right. And, you know, God comforts us when we suffer, and it's very cool to be able to help others in that same way. And for some people, it's just a little bit of weight they want to lose, and some things they want to do a little differently. And for some people, it is totally life-changing. And that's been an amazing thing to be a part of.
Awesome job. Thank you so much, Steve and Lydia, for sharing your stories. So inspirational. Jared was just saying, you both look so much younger. Maybe that's one of those benefits, right? So great. So just a few quick to wrap this up. Financial health in America. There's some statistics. Less than half of your friends have a rainy day fund. Only half of your friends are satisfied with their job. Most of them are not telling you. And it's interesting because this is true for us, that before Optavia, our health path, for the most part, wasn't going in the right direction. And as clients come on, their health path is going, you know, up. But when you're a coach, it's just accelerated. So I love this middle green arrow. You just get it faster. You're putting more hours into it. And the market is huge for what we do. Wellness is now a $3.72 trillion global industry with 10.6% growth just in those 2 years, 2013 to 2015. It's amazing. And I love the benefits of becoming an Optavia coach. I mean, first of all, reinforce your decision to be healthy. I heard that in both Rick and Louisa and Steve and Lydia's story. paying it forward makes a difference. Like to Jared's point, people want purpose and meaning, and it's fun. We have so much fun, you guys. Listen, all you got to do is show up at an Optavia event, and you are going to be having fun.
Yeah, Stephen Covey always taught this principle. If you don't know who Stephen Covey is, Google him. He's kind of big in the world, but he always taught this principle that the most complete and comprehensive way to learn anything is to teach others, right? I thought my parents were kind of idiots when I was growing up, and then I became a parent. I'm like, man, they were really smart, right? So when you become, you like Amber was saying, you just get it. Leave a legacy. I want to tell a really quick story. When our daughter is 11 now, when she was 4 years old, she was at her friend's house, and her mom took a picture of our daughters together with olives on all their fingers. And she, in the text, there's the picture, and it said, "Tenley's here teaching us about healthy fats." Like, we know that even with our children, with our clients, with our coaches, everybody that we get to be part of, we know that their life is improving. We know that they're not going to have some of the same struggles that we had, because they're learning these principles of health in physical, mental, and financial, that they won't have to deal with the same things.
That's a legacy, for sure. And I love, you could become a coach and just help some clients. I think Louisa said that's how she started. She was just helping a few clients. And then you could become a business coach where you're helping others to help clients too. Or a business leader, a leader of leaders, people who really want to make a big difference in this world. So how does it work for coaches? It's relational. It's focused on optimal well-being. We're self-employed, we're independent, and you can be full-time or part-time. I know that we started with very part-time hours, and now we probably work a little bit more than when we started, but not a ton more. Low startup costs and operating costs, no inventory. If you've ever had a quote-unquote brick and mortar business, these things mean a lot to you right now. Just so you know, flexible, you can work from anywhere. We were working from Hawaii in June, and we're actually be working from Hawaii next week for our 20th wedding anniversary. Woo, woo, 20 years with this guy right here. I still love him. No quotas or monthly purchases, so you can do what you want to do, help who you want to help. There's no pressure. And complete training and support.
So we have a complete training system. I always tell people, if you want to be successful as a coach, don't go and try to reinvent the wheel. Just a little secret, we tried to do that when we first started coaching, and it didn't work out very well. And then we're like, actually, she said it to me. One day she's like, one of our mentors, Kim, she's like, I'm going to do it Kim's way. And then all of a sudden we started being really successful. So the most important things, connect with your coach, connect with your mentorship team. They want you to be successful, and they will make sure that you're successful if you're willing to put in the work.
Yeah, and helping others can look like, it could look like just helping 5 people. It could look like making an impact on over 1 million people, like Dr. A was honored for helping 1 million people last year. And you can connect with your coach specifically, or the person who invited you, to get some more details on that. But what we want is we want to make a big difference in the health of America and then the world. So join our Optavia community. Get started helping others right away. It makes sense. It makes sense for you personally in your own health journey. It makes sense financially, and it makes sense for building those hours in that practice that it takes to really become an expert at being the healthiest you. So thank you so much for joining us. And we hope that you've been inspired just a little bit tonight. Thank you so much, Rick and Louisa and Steve and Lydia, for sharing your amazing stories. And we need more helpers, you guys.
Yeah, reach out to the person who invited you to this webinar tonight. Talk to them, just explore with them what it might look like in your life to help other people and to help yourself.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.